Chapter 12. What is GitHub? Intro. Distributed version control system for tracking changes in source code during software development. Git was created by Linus Torvalds in 2005 for development of the Linux kernel, with other kernel developers contributing to its initial development. Git is free and open-source software distributed under the terms of the GNU General Public License, version 2. What is version control system? A system that keeps records of your changes. Allows for collaborative development. Users keep entire code and history on their location machines. Revert any changes and go back to a previous state. Users can make any changes without internet access. Why Git? According to the latest Stack Overflow developer survey, more than 70% of developers use Git, making it the most used VCS in the world. Git is commonly used for both open source and commercial software development, with significant benefits for individuals, teams, and businesses. 1. Git lets developers see the entire timeline of their changes, decisions, and progression of any project in one place. From the moment they access the history of a project, the developer has all the context they need to understand it and start contributing. 2. Developers work in every time zone. With a DVCS like Git, collaboration can happen anytime while maintaining source code integrity. Using branches, developers can safely propose changes to production code. 3. Businesses using Git can break down communication barriers between teams and keep them focused on doing their best work. Plus, Git makes it possible to align experts across a business to collaborate on major projects. Git Manual. How does Git work? Can be complicated at first, but there are a few key concepts. Important Git terminology in following slides are blue. Key concepts, snapshots. The way Git keeps track of your code history. Essentially records what all your files look like at a given point in time. You decide when to take a snapshot, and of what files. Have the ability to go back to visit any snapshot. Your snapshots from later on will stay around, too. Key concepts, commit. Can be complicated at first, but there are a few key concepts. The act of creating a snapshot. Can be a noun or verb. I committed code, I just made a new commit. Essentially, a project is made up of a bunch of commits. Commits contain 3 pieces of information. Information about how the files changed from previously. A reference to the commit that came before it, called the parent commit. A hash code name will look something like FB2D2EC5069FC6776C80B3AD6B7D3K4E. Key concepts, repositories 1. Often shortened to repo. A collection of all the files and the history of those files. Consists of all your commits. Place where all your hard work is stored. Can live on a local machine or on a remote server, GitHub. The act of copying a repository from a remote server is called cloning. Key concepts, repositories, 2. Cloning from a remote server allows teams to work together. The process of downloading commits that don't exist on your machine from a remote repository is called pulling changes. The process of adding your local changes to the remote repository is called pushing changes. Key concepts, branches. All commits in Git live on some branch. But there can be many, many branches. The main branch in a project is called the master branch. So, what does a typical project look like? A bunch of commits linked together that live on some branch, contained in a repository. Following images taken and modified from http://marklo.io/visual-git-guide/index-n.html. Also a good tutorial. Key concepts, how do you make a commit anyway? The process. Make some changes to a file. Use the git add command to put the file onto the staging environment. Use the git commit command to create a new commit. Key concepts, branching off of the master branch. The start of a branch points to a specific commit. When you want to make any changes to your project, you make a new branch based on a commit. GitHub offers repository for free. Largest host of source code in the world. GitHub account can be act as portfolios. Commit history, created issue, own projects, etc. Seamless code review. Code review is the surest path to better code, and it's fundamental to how GitHub works. Built-in review tools make code review an essential part of your team's process. Manage your ideas. Coordinate early, stay aligned, and get more done with GitHub's project management tools. The right tools for the job. Browse and buy apps from GitHub Marketplace with your GitHub account. Find the tools you like or discover new favorites, then start using them in minutes. The human side of software. Building software is as much about managing teams and communities as it is about code. Whether you're on a team of 2 or 2,000, we've got the support your people need. All together now. With a community of 40 million developers, there are plenty of opportunities to connect with like-minded developers and the projects they create. Documentation alongside your code. Quality documentation is a hallmark of any healthy software project. On GitHub, you can create well-maintained docs and make sure they receive the high level of care they deserve. All your code in one place. GitHub is one of the largest code hosts in the world with over 100 million projects. Private, public, or open source, all repositories are equipped with tools to help you host, version, and release code.